This is uh, this is lecture 4, and in this lecture we will talk about and we will read study the feature selection. I think in lesson 2 we talked about what is feature selection, and this is also called dimension reduction or variable selection. So in statistics it is called variable selection. In multivariate analysis and data mining it is also called dimension reduction, and in machine learning this is called feature selection. But because if I use the word feature selection, then I have to teach you regularization. I think you are studying operation research nowadays, or maybe in last semester you did operation research. So it is, when I say regularization, it has something related to optimization procedures, linear optimization and quadratic optimization. So that's why I think I will not say that we are going to discuss feature selection, because it has more concepts or more details from machine learning. So we are basically doing the second and third. I remove this, dimension reduction or variable selection. This is our lecture, and the lecture I already have prepared is here. So this is the object. The objective of this chapter is to identify differences, because there are different ways of doing feature selection, dimension reduction. Sometimes you have a data set where there are a large number of rows, large number of instances, or large number of records. For example, you have 100,000 records and you want to reduce the number of records. Record means number of rows. You want to reduce the rows to a manageable number. So you will apply the feature, the variable selection or dimension reduction technique on the rows. Rows or cases or instances or records, they are all same thing. Whereas features represents the column. So if you have a data set and you want to reduce the number of variables in that data set, then you apply feature selection or dimension reduction techniques. So there are some very famous techniques that we will study, one or two of them, and I will show you some on the scikit-learn and R. So just for the practical approaches of this topic. And sometimes we also have to reduce specific values from the data set. For example, we say, okay, this value is repeated many times or not repeated many times. So then the main two things are the variable selection and the row selection. This one is another method, chi-square binning, but I will not discuss this one because it is very old method, and this I have not seen in real life very repeatedly. So advantage of the dimension reduction is that it is a part of pre-processing of your data, because if you have a large number of variables and you want to do clustering or data visualization, or you want to do a linear regression model, something like this, it will be very cumbersome, very time taking and very computationally expensive. So that means you will try to find a solution, that is, you can reduce the data. For this is called high dimensional data. You can reduce the high dimensional data into a low dimensional data. For example, when I was working in Nottingham University, we had anything to say. So we had
मैं नहीं पूछता यार, जब लगी थी ना, जब पूछी थी, ठीक है, ये लगे थे ये लोग तकरीबन उस वक्त 25-30 पे लग गए थे.
So basically what I was saying, mic off करके रखा करें please. So that means dimension reductions. Yeah. So in Nottingham University we had a joint project with data science, engineering, and pharmacology or pharmacy. So that was maybe you have seen a food tube. If a person is very sick, then the patient, then the doctors and nurses insert a rubber tube into the from mouth till the stomach. So that rubber tube, when it is removed from the stomach and through the mouth, it has many bacteria and many other stuff. So if they cannot reuse that tube again because it has so much bacteria and other stuff, so they remove it and throw it away in the dustbin, and they make a new tube to insert into the body. But again, what is the chances, what is the assurance that the new tube will be bacteria free? So in the pharmacy department and pharmaceutical research, they collected data about 2,700 bacteria spikes. That is like a biological data. And from those 2,700 variables, our task was to use feature selection techniques and come up with a very reduced number of bacteria spikes, or simply say protein spikes or bacteria spikes, that are the most important or let's say that are most affecting that rubber tube and are maybe they are dangerous for the human life as well. So maybe you have seen if a patient have repeatedly using the tube, their chances of survival also decreases with time. So in other sense, so our job was that we had to apply feature selection on 2,700 variables, and from 2,700 we found only 100 or 150 spikes. Spikes means protein spikes or bacterial spikes or virus spikes, whatever. Some simply say biological spikes. So only 100 or 150 biological spikes. Spikes means gene expression data, and from those expressions we found that we have this biological material which are most affecting the food tube. Yeah, that's a food tube, liquid food tube. So that was very important project. We were like human sorry, not the human, pharmacy engineering, material science department and data science department. So we had a very good joint project which was doing this thing. And after doing that thing, then we had to apply regression models for predicting that if this expression data is present, then what will be the outcome? Whether the tube will have some bacteria or spikes with it, and it will go to the stomach as well, or it will be bacteria and virus and other stuff free. So that was a feature selection and then regression, binary regression problem. So there are many different ways as well. From statistical science, it comes the principal component analysis. This is one of the most common technique for variable reduction or dimension reduction. There are more other, one is called multi-dimensional scaling, MDS, that represent the high dimensional data into high dimensional means maybe it has 10 columns, maybe 50 columns, maybe 1,000, 2,000 columns. Columns means variables. So we have high dimensional data, and MDS represents the whole data into 2 dimension. So if you want to understand how the data is behaving on a 2 dimension like X and Y axis only, then MDS, multi-dimensional scaling, is a good topic. But multi-dimensional scaling is part of multivariate statistics, and it is taught in machine learning, but it can be in data mining as well. So there is a lot of many things are common between machine learning material and data mining material. So we will see principal component in a detail, much more detail. So this is the theory that it says that if you have a large data set, you have to go through variable selection first. And if you don't try to go through it, then you have studied linear algebra or calculus in BSc or maybe somewhere in another class. For example, if you have a matrix of information, matrix of data, like suppose 3 by 3 matrix, and if one column is a combination of other 2 columns, or one row is a combination of other 2 rows, that means this is called redundancy. Redundancy stands for, you have used this term in databases as well. Redundancy means one column is a multiple or a linear combination of other columns. When this happens, that one column is created or generated by other columns, then you cannot calculate the inverse of that matrix. And if you cannot calculate the inverse of a matrix, that means you cannot do any good data mining approach on that data set. So this is a limitation. If you want to do a good data analysis or data mining, then you must have to reduce the number of variables. Otherwise, it will create problems in the next stages. And even it will be very difficult for the management or for the researcher to understand your results. So that's why it is a must to do. And now there are many tools that can do this in very few clicks. Some software do it in a click, and some softwares do through programming, because if you're writing a full code yourself, then it will be part of the code as well. So this is again repetition, deleting column, deleting rows, reducing the number of values in a column. What that means, reducing the number of values in a column. For example, if I say how many people have completed 10-year education. So 10-year education, no, okay, 12-year education. So 12-year education may be A level, maybe intermediate, maybe DAE, and Diploma of Associate Engineering. So that means there are 3 different ways to reach the same answer, which is 12 years of education. So that means we can reduce these 3 values and replace it by 1 value, which is 12-year education. Similarly, if you have too many categories in a variable, then you can reduce the number of categories in that variable by combining them. For example, yeah, A grade, B grade, yeah, first division, first division 60 plus 62, any number is first division, and second division, anybody between 50 to 59 is termed as second division. That means in place of identifying individual marks like 51, somebody at 57, somebody at 59, they just say second division. So this is a way, this is called this is called binning process. In the binning process, we forget the individual identities. If somebody have 53%, we will not remind him. We just say the person have second division. If somebody has 65 or 69, even 79, it will be called first division. So that means when we bin the data, we remove the individual identities, and that's a good thing and bad thing in data analysis as well. Okay.
सर लेकिन इससे इंफॉर्मेशन लॉस नहीं हो जाएगा अगर हम इस तरह से बिनिंग कर देंगे तो?
जी मैं ये बताया ना कि उसमें आपको इंडिविजुअल आइडेंटिफिकेशन नहीं हो सकती. So if you want to lose your data because of making simplification, yes, then you can do this. Then you have to lose some information but gain some simplicity. And
right.
This is also good in some data analysis, because sometimes people are not much interested in details. For example, I am doing data that e-governance is good for our society or not good. And that was asking, what is your level of education? Somebody say matriculation, somebody say intermediate, somebody say master's and PhD. So there were so many different categories. That means I had to combine them first. Otherwise, my analysis will say only one person have intermediate, only one person have PhD, something like this. So we have to bin 12-year education or 16-year education or 20 years of education. So that means we will miss the data, individual identification, but we will have less number of categories. So this is, yeah, that means your algorithm will be faster if you bin the data, if you do feature selection, variable selection or row selection. So there is more descriptive details in this. Yeah, principle of parsimony. So is it possible that you remove your data without losing any details about the data? That means you want to, for example, if you have 70 variables and you want to reduce the data, and suppose after doing principal component analysis, your data reduced to say 15 variables. Do you think that those 15 variables represents the whole 70 variables? Is it possible? Because 15 out of 70 is even less than 25% of the whole data. But you will see that even if you have less than 10% of the data, some of the data sets are very well represented only by those sample, or say those 10% of the total observations. So it is very important sometimes that your algorithm will give you a very reduced data, because your data has redundancies. Redundancy means repetitions, or redundancy means that something is repeated many times. So yeah, it is important, because if you want to make a reliable model, if you have too many variables which are highly correlated. You know, correlation means how one variable affect the other variable. So if correlation is high between the variables, this is called, you know, dot product. So dot product and correlation are same thing. So if there are high correlations, that means one variable is highly related with the other variable. And if the variables are related, then your model will not be an efficient model. So that's why we must have to go through this step. Now I want to jump to features. What is this way? Okay, this is entropy measure for ranking features. This is another way. That means you can rank your variables according to the entropy. You know, suppose you have not good example. So suppose in a company, there are 10 employees. Suppose they want to downsize, they want to reduce the number of employees in their company. What they will do, they will remove for one person and they will see first thing, they will see how good their system is working. What is the efficiency of the system when there are 10 employees? Suppose the efficiency of the system is 90%. Efficiency and entropy are reciprocal of each other. So if the system's efficiency is 90%, that means the system's entropy will be 10%. That means based on 10 employees, the entropy of the system is 10%. What they will do now? They will start iterative process. They will remove first 1% from the company. They will have 9% remaining. From those 9 people, they will calculate the entropy or efficiency, or reciprocal is entropy. They will calculate efficiency or entropy. If the total entropy take away the new entropy is very small, that means the person which was removed from the company, there is no effect of removing him. Because of removing him, there is no difference in the efficiency. So that's why they can remove that person. But if removing a person, the entropy of the system increased to suppose 20% from 10%, that means that person was 10% effective or efficient out of 100. So that means that person should not be removed, or should some other person should be analyzed again. So what they will do, they will remove one person at a time, and they will calculate the efficiency and entropy, and they will remove the second person, then again calculate entropy and efficiency, then remove third person, then fourth person, up till the last person, the 10th person is removed. And after 10 entropies or 10 efficiencies, they will see which person causing the least entropy. That means if that person is removed, there is no difference. Or which is the person which making a least change in efficiency, remove that person. But if a person is making a very big change in efficiency, that means that person should not be removed. In data mining and statistics sense, we call it standard deviation. So standard deviation is a measure that a person is efficient or not efficient. So we will see it in the later session. So one in the entropy measure for ranking, we first calculate the distance matrix. You know, Euclidean distance or simple distance formula, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, and then square root. So we have this distance measure between all the I and j. I and j represents the columns of a data frame or a data matrix. Alpha is some constant term, maybe 0.01 or 0.1 or 0.202, something like this. And Sij, if distance is the dissimilarity, you know, distance means how far one object is from the other object. If distance is d, Dij means distance between ith and jth object, then Sij is the similarity between those two objects. So we can calculate the similarity by using the distance formula. After calculating, this is given, alpha equals minus ln 0.5 divided by d. D stands for the average distance for all the data. For example, if you have 10 employees, so there will be 10 by 10 matrix of distances. Then you can calculate the average distance from there. So alpha is, can anybody see where from this alpha coming? Have you studied exponential distribution in your statistics modules, statistics course mein? If you have studied exponential distribution, this function is the median value of exponential distribution. L minus NN 0.5 divided by lambda. In place of lambda, we have D. So this is so higher the distance, lower the alpha. So decreasing parameter. So this is a way, because we are not going through the derivation. So this is just a formula taken from exponential distribution. And how to calculate distance formula? When, one second, normalized. When we do normalized Euclid distance, the distance formula is x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. So this is the formula when the x variable and y variable have similar values. I mean, it is not like, I am giving example when the data is not similar. For example, age of a person may be from 0 to 150 or 200 years, but the salary of a person may be 0 rupees to 100,000 rupees, or maybe 200,000 rupees, 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees. So that means if you have two columns, first column age called X column, and second column is salary. So salary column is suppose Y column. You see there is a big difference between age values and salary values. That means we have to scale down. We have to scale the two columns. And for this purpose, we use the term normalized. Normalized means you convert your data into a specific range. A specific range, for example, your data will be from 0 to 1, or maybe minus 100 to plus 100, something like this. So this is a normalized distance where you divide, for example, x1 minus x2 whole square divided by range of x values. Then plus y1 minus y2 whole square divided by range. Range stands for maximum value minus minimum value. So using this Dij formula, in R or Python or any language, you can easily find normalization packages, and you can use those packages to normalize your data first. Or you can use this type of normalized distance formula as well. So normally when we do data analysis, data mining things, first we normalize our data, and after normalization, then we do any algorithm. But here we are saying that you can normalize first, and then you can proceed to next. You normalize the distance matrix, not the data. So there is not a single distance formula. There is a large number of distance formula. The easiest one that you have studied is the Euclidean distance. Second one is Minkowski distance, Cherkassky distance, cosine distance, and there are a lot of many, maybe dozens of distance formulas are available to calculate distance between points. Hamming distance. So there is a lots of many different formulae that you can use on this data set. So you understand, basically we have to calculate. Okay, what is it? So if it is Hamming distance is used, all features are not numeric. For example, when it is categorical data as well in your variables, then in case of categorical data, we calculate this thing. Sij, the similarity between ith and jth field or jth columns variables is equal to absolute between xi and xj. What is k representing? K represents the column number. For example, or row number. For example, if you are analyzing columns, then k is the row number, and if you are analyzing rows, comparing rows for similarity, then k represents the column number. So that's it. There's nothing much to explore. Yeah. How we are calculating this one? Now understand this thing. A tabular representation of similarity measure S. This is this F1 is feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. Row 1, row 2, row 3 for our samples. Feature 1 is a categorical, feature 2 is categorical, feature 3 is numeric but representing categories. None of them is real number. Now, if I compare R1 and R2, A and B are not same, X and Y are not same, 1 and 2 are not same. So 0 out of 3 columns are same. So 0 out of 3 is here. If I see this one, R2 and R4, R2 have B, R4 have B. So one similarity. And Y is here, X is here, not similar. In R2 it is 2, in R4 it is 1, they are not similar. So there is only one similarity out of 3. In case of R2, similar with similarity measure with R4. So you see this is 1/3 because there is only one value which is common. Here is it is B and it is also B. So this way you can calculate the Hamming distance between categorical variables. But the problem arises when you have mixture of data, when you have categorical data and numeric data together. That is a problem. And then we have to do some analysis. We will see this further. Yeah, now we can, this is the formula for entropy that I was explaining. Now, because you have calculated the similarities between variables, now this is the time to start using entropy measure. In the first instance, you calculate the entropy for the whole system. That means if the two measures are close, then the reduced set of features will satisfactorily approximate. That what I was saying, if I remove a variable from the data set and there is no change in the entropy, that means you can remove that variable without any problem. So first we put all the Sij values times log of Sij values plus 1 minus Sij times log of 1 minus Sij. So this is a formula taken from mathematics. That subject is called information theory, and this is called Shannon's entropy criteria from information theory, but it is very common in signal processing, data mining, and many fields. So this is the way if you calculate the entropy between two for a whole set. What you will do, suppose you have n samples and you are calculating the similarity. Then you will remove one of the samples, or if you are working for variables, one of the variables, and then you will calculate this entropy again. Yeah, this is the steps. Start with the initial full set of features F. We have features set F. For each feature, remove one feature, a small f, from the full feature set, capital F, and obtain a subset. Subset name is called FF. Like I gave you the example. If you have 10 implies, you removed one imply. So the new set will have 9 implies. So the subset will have 9 implies. F small f. Find the difference between entropy for capital F, that means the full system entropy, and entropy for all the FF. FF means you are keep removing one imply at a time and calculating the entropy. Let Fk be a feature such that the difference between entropy for full set and the entropy for the subset is minimum. That means if you remove a person, suppose person number 6, and after removing that person, there is no big change in the entropy. That means he is not very useful. Update the set of features F minus small fk, where minus is a difference operation on set. In our example, if the difference is minimum, then the reduced set of features is F2. Oh, so if I take it example, back to the example. So which of the variables has least similarity? So, or which one is the most similar? We can, one second, I want to add this person. So we can remove a particular value from the data set. These are very old. Maybe it is developed in 70s or 80s. So it is quite old, but still it can be used. For example, entropy based feature selection. And it will give me a bunch of many different methods as well. What is entropy features? Entropy feature selection, Vikram, Nirmal Kumar. Entropy based features and data clustering, feature selection and neighborhood and entropy. So you see there is a lot of many different techniques. Even if I say just feature selection using entropy based measure, because it's this one is a old method and new research have been published. So we can use using filters. Yeah, F selector are C++ library, and they are using this library to calculate the feature selection. You can see this is very latest project package. Select features with a sparse matrix. You know, sparse matrix means a matrix where a large number of values are zeros. Zeros like how many people are using Facebook at a time. So maybe if there are 1 billion people on the Facebook, maybe 1 billion, maybe 10% of people or maybe 20% of the people are using Facebook in a particular hour, and rest of the world is not using, not active. That means 0, 0, 0, so 80.8 billion zeros and 0.2 billion non-zeros values. So Facebook has a large collection of data that see your activities every minute or every 5 minutes, or depends. So you can go to facebook.research.com to see what they are doing about it. So this is one of the packages, because there are many ways. So look, select attribute by their score, rank, or weights based on the cutoff value. So if the contribution of the variable is less than 0.5, remove it, but you have to study. So this is in an R, you see on Python, you will see that there are large collection of entropy based feature selection that you can use. Yeah, you can also have GitHub repositories for this purpose. Entropy based feature selection for text categorical data. You will see it's very useful method where you can have a lot of many different algorithms to perform this code. Beginning guide to features less, Paul, yes. So you can see, so now you will see a lot of blogs written by different people, data scientists and other fields, that are using this set of all features, select the best feature, learning algorithm, and performance check. So you will see a lot of many different techniques which are available for this one, but I will only focus on 2 methods right now today. Okay, so you can, maybe I have shown now, you can apply using package, or you can apply manually if you have time using Excel. Okay, second technique is, time is less than 1 minute. Okay, any questions, anything? Then I will start second session. Okay, thank you.